There are two types of 3D objects that you'll deal with inside Expression Blend: 3D image elements as well as 3D models. Let's start with looking at image elements. I'm going to add a couple elements to my project. I have two images that I'd like to add, the Brick Tan and Wood 98 textures. I'm going to start by adding the Wood 98. I double-click the image in the Files Inspector and it shows up on my artboard. At the left, you'll see at the moment I have an image control. I'm going to move this down a little bit, and I'm going to go to my tools and make the image 3D. Now, at first glance, it doesn't look like I've done anything, but if you look in the object tree, the image control has been replaced with a viewport 3D. I'm going to stretch my image so I have a nice large workspace, and it still doesn't look like anything has changed. I'm going to grab the Camera Orbit tool, and now, when I click and drag, you'll see that my image rotates as I move. Clicking and dragging without any modifier keys changes the perspective of the camera relative to the center point of the viewport. If I hold down the Alt key, then clicking and dragging up or down moves the camera further or closer to my center point. Finally, if I hold down the Control key and move, now when I click and drag, I change the camera's position without modifying the perspective. I'm going to double-click my Viewport 3D to make it the activated element, and now I'm going to double-click the bricktan.png to insert it. By default, it adds it at the same position as the first image. The reason for this is we haven't moved the image. We haven't changed where the wood paneling was. We just changed the camera's position relative to it. When I did that, the Viewport 3D also added another Model Visual 3D. I can expand, find the content, expand it, and find my Brick Tan. Now when I select it in the object tree and switch to my selection tool, the 3D adorners are displayed. Each of these adorners represents a separate axis, red, blue, and green for X, Y, and Z. For each of these adorners, when I'm over the translation adorner, my mouse cursor gets a horizontal line to indicate that I'm ready to translate. Now when I click and drag, I'm not changing the camera, I'm actually changing the position of the image within the artboard. I can also change the rotation by clicking and dragging on the arcs in the scene. So by moving the green arc, I've now made my image vertical, and with the red arc, I can change the perspective again. By using these adorners, I can get my pieces exactly where I want them to be, and I could start building up, in this case perhaps a room or a scene that other elements could go into. This is the most basic type of 3D manipulation when you're working with images. However, in most cases, what you're going to receive is a model from your developers.